Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys had a great weekend and you're off to a awesome start this week. Now, I know you guys know. I know I'm not telling you something that you don't know when I say this business, this trading business requires expenses. I know you pay for, if you join a community, you pay for that. If you subscribe to like trade ideas for your scans, your scanners. You do that. If you have to pay for your charting platform, whatever the case is, you know that this business has expenses. But what some people don't realize is that our losing trades, the money that we lose on trades, is a business expense. The amount of money that we lose on a trade is simply a part of the cost of doing business. And what it does is if we accept that, it allows us to continue and be ready for those trades that do win. There's a lot that goes into this. You got to have the right mindset in order to make it to the next level. We talk about having thinking in probabilities and understanding that you may have whatever strategy you trade, whatever system you use is not going to give you a winning trade every time. And that when you don't make money, it's not that you're wrong, it's just that the trade didn't work. It was one of those times that the trade didn't work. And it's just like I think I've used the example of, flipping a weighted coin. You know, we have the weighted coin in our favor. So if we call heads every time and the coin's weighted on heads, then we're going to win. Over the course of 100 flips, we're going to win. And when I've done my live seminars, I've actually had the coin and had people in groups, and it blew their mind. It's not as something that's in their face every day that they never really thought about. All right, so understanding that, hey, a losing trade is just part of our business expense because we have to take these trades. If we can't sit back and try to pick, once a stock gets on our watch list, we should have gone through and vetted it properly. So it should have the potential to be a winning trade. But if we're trying to vet these things after we have them on our watch list and they start to set up, we're not going to be consistent. So we have a watch list. When the stock triggers, if it triggers in the window that we have predetermined, we have to take the trade. It's just that simple because we don't know which ones are going to make money and which ones aren't. We have no idea which ones are going to work. We know that it's more probable that it's going to work than not, but that doesn't mean that it's actually going to do it. And we can't predict the ones, and we don't know. So those losing trades are business expenses. So I wanted to point that out because I was talking to somebody this weekend and we were talking about that, and he didn't realize that these losing trades were actually considered business expenses, or at least that's the way we should focus on that and not worry about it being, losses and all of that to kind of mess with our mindset. All right, so last week was not the best week for me. Last week was actually the worst week of the year. And there's a lot of people that wish their worst week of the year was only a $1,500 loss. So for me, it's no big deal. Okay, I've had swing trades in the past that I've lost $3, $4, $5,000 on. So this isn't, you know, being down this for the week. I understand. Um, I made some trading errors. Monday, I don't watch my P&L. So Monday, for some reason, I wasn't focusing on managing my risk. And so it got away from me. It's just one of those things. I come back Tuesday doing this, trading the same strategies, executing a little bit better. Things worked out, and I just made too many trading errors to close out the week. Taking trades that did not trigger, um, and just really not doing what I'm supposed to do as part of my trading process. And so that's considered trading errors. I can't chalk it up to the strategy not working because it's not the strategy's fault. It's the operator's fault because I'm the one that made the trading errors. So not the best of weeks last week. And you can see our equity curve. This is the steepest pullback or the steepest drop of this whole year. I think I've had one week that I was down over $1,000. But hey, it's maybe I willed it on myself by me looking at this last week saying I'm due for a pullback, and I kind of brought it on myself. But whatever the case is, I had it, but I'm not going to let that week stop me from doing what I do. I realized that I made a lot of trading errors. I wasn't as focused as I should have been, and I needed to make sure I came into this week focused and understanding what I needed to do in order to get things back on track. And that's all I did. Swing trading, Friday we closed out, and I went over this Friday. Um, just haven't had a whole lot of swing trades. Today was not a day to enter. None of the watches triggered because the market opened on the gap down. Now it's since recovered. Tomorrow we may get some triggers. We'll see. But here's the thing, you wait until your trigger happens. When your trigger happens, you enter. As long as we don't guess and we wait for the trigger, then we're going to be fine. And if we do that consistently, then we should be able to make money on a consistent basis. Are we going to have red weeks? Yeah, it's going to happen. Now I don't think we should have red months. I think we should be able to right the ship before we have red months. But I know in the beginning when you're just learning, that's going to happen. But once we get to a certain point and we have our strategy down pat, we have our process down, if we focus on executing and eliminating trade operator errors or trading errors and just allow the market to dictate, I think we're going to be, we'll end up pretty good here. All right, so today you can see, and we talked about this weekend. There's an area here, or this channel, this range of support, all in through here, and this is where I felt we were going to test, and then if we lost it and we lost the 90 day, then we'll come on down. Well, this is the 100. I'm sorry. I'm trying to switch from the 90 to the 100, but I'm having a hard time. But this is the 100-day moving average here. So the 90-day is a little bit closer to 320. I mean, yeah, 320, 321, and it might have hit the 90-day today. I'm not really sure, but this is the area that we were talking about, that it would probably slow down, run into some support, and if the bulls were together, they could bounce the market. And that's kind of what they did today. Now, whether this is going to continue or not remains to be seen. We're still under the 50. We're still under the 20. We're still under the 5. There's still a lot of resistance above it. But this is a healthy pullback. But we did see the big 5, start to regain some strength. The stocks that we talked about yesterday. Um, but we're still not seeing strength in all of these other stocks that make up the S&P. They're still kind of lagging behind. So tomorrow we're going to look for. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and we're gapped over 130. I mean 330. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and be capped down below the 100. You just don't know what's going to happen overnight. Look at Tesla today. I mean, Tesla was crazy. I don't trade it specifically for that reason. I mean, I've traded it once or twice, but it's just too crazy for me. We dropped from what, 448 all the way down to 408. I mean, you're talking about 40 points in like 15, 20 minutes. It's crazy. And it made its way all the way back to around 455, 456. And then after the market closed, you know, it dropped all the way down from like 455, 456 to the high 420s in a matter of 20, 30 minutes. Craziness. So the markets still got some volatility. The opportunity to make money is there. It's just a matter of being consistent, apply with how we apply ourselves in the market, executing consistently, and just waiting for these moves to come to us. Taking our losses as business expenses and then coming back. We just had a bad night at the office. All right, so today I just traded ROKU. This was a this is my kind of day where I can pick one stock and work this thing pretty much all day. You got to have a stock that has a catalyst that can move it against the market, that is not relying on the market for its volatility or momentum. It's doing its own thing. So, this one I was looking to buy it on the break at the open like I did the other week. That's what I was looking for. Last week it didn't follow through. I just got a base hit. This week it would have followed through and I would have killed it. But I had to wait. I missed the break. Had to wait for the opening range high. Again, there was room to the upside. I had to take it. Just because this stock had a big candle at the open, we know how ROKU moves. The last time I missed it and I didn't take the opening range breakout, it ran up like this. And I kicked myself for not sticking to my process. So I got it on the break, took some profit. Now I realize now my first profit target was too early. I realize it. I this stock was moving a little bit with a little bit of volatility, and I wasn't settled. And I was letting each uptick and downtick in price bother me. And so I ended up short shifting this. This should have been my first target. This should have been my second target. But I kind of took targets all in between, and did pretty good on this. Um, I took 2/3 off at the first hit. I took half of what was left. Now here's what happened. I took 26 shares. I had 13 left. All right. So what happened was somehow I went to sell 13 and it sold 26. I don't know how it did that, but it did the exact same thing on Friday where I was getting out of position, except for this time I was stopping out and it ended up reversing my position. Here I was just taking profit. And I don't know what happened, why I did it. I did go ahead and reinstall the platform and then log back in and it worked. It worked the rest of the day. So I'm thinking, the file might have got corrupt or whatever the case was. But that was crazy, and that's what happened here. I had 13 shares left after I sold 13, which was half of 26, and this stock was moving. I mean, this thing was moving 185. That was my final target, and so I ended up shorting 13 after it closed out the 13. And then I added 13 to it. I wanted to see if this thing was going to double it up again. It didn't. So I just left it alone. All right. And I ended up taking it off when it pulled back to the 9, I believe. I just took it off. It wasn't a real trade. Only 26 shares on an initial position. It, didn't make any sense at all. But we weren't in an area up here where I was ready to short. It didn't give me any indication that this thing was ready to short. So I ended up covering it here once it looked like it was bouncing off of the when it looked like it was bouncing off of the 9 here. And so because this candle was actually green, when it opened here, and as it was going up, I actually took it off, and then it ended up selling off, and then it was just crazy. But here I bought. Once we came back through and broke the previous 52-week high, again, I bought it, and it just didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. And I realized why it kept running into this level. We were running into the linear regression line on the 60-minute chart. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the last 2 classes I did. The last 2 classes in the roadmap to success dealt with using the 60-minute chart. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. If not, make sure you ask me tomorrow in chat. But, we brought it up and I showed you this is it kept hitting. So I took profit there and left a little bit on in case we would get a spike up, like we did over here. But we didn't. It took me out. It pulled all the way back and bounced. Here we pulled back. We held the 20. We held the previous 52-week high. So once we broke the high of this candle, I got in. I thought we were going to go right back to that linear regression line again, which at this point was around 191. So I got in, and I got in here, and right again, I'm letting this thing get to me. I ended up taking it early here at was it 187.76. I was waiting on 188. Okay, I was waiting on 188, and I got it. Right after I took it off, it ran to over 188. So I missed it, taking it a little short. Here we traded sideways for a while, pulled back, stopped me out, started to bounce again. So I'm like, okay, we made a higher low. We're grinding up. We're grinding up. I'm going to get this because we're going to pop this and run to 191. So I got in and it started to run. I took it off. I honestly thought we were at 190, but we were at 189. So it I only got 70 cents on that first move, and then I took the rest off through 189. It it was, I mean, very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. So that was that. But when I looked at the P&L, all of that frustration went away. Ended up with 1279.73. Almost, almost made back what I lost all last week in one day. If I don't make trading errors and I stay consistent with what I do, I should be able to make back what I lost last week and then add some to it by the end of the week. But I can't think about it. I can't do anything to try and make it happen faster. Just have to be patient, trade the way I trade, and bring it home. That's what we're going to have to do. So that's it for today. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Maybe we'll get in some swings. Um, no changes on the swings. And members, look out for an email. Should get it out tonight with how to sign up for the private Twitter feed that's going to give you my swing entries and everything swing. It'll be easier for me to tweet it out to who wants it versus trying to type up emails throughout the day. So that'll be the private Twitter feed that you'll be able to kind of the follow along with the trading, what I'm thinking about swings, because I don't look at swings all day. I don't watch the chart. I could care less about how this intraday stuff is affecting it. I'm going to put in my stop in the morning. If I have enough buying power, I'll put in my stop and my profit target and just walk away from it and just let it work. That's what you got to do. You got to separate yourself from your trades. You've got to separate yourself from your trade. If you can't do that, it's going to be really difficult to swing trade. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.